Hey KidsLife, it's so good to see you. Welcome back to our series, Miracle Workers, where we've been taking a deeper look into some of the miracles Jesus performed while he walked on earth. That same power lives within us. He can do miracles in our lives when we put our trust and our hope in him. Today is gonna be crazy, but before we get into it, it's game time. This game is called Cookie Face. For this game, you're gonna need some cookies or some small snacks and a partner. This is how you play. Put the cookie on your forehead. Try and get the cookie into your mouth only using your face muscles. This game is a race, so let's see who can get the cookie fastest. Are you ready? 3, 2, 1, go! Hello, hi. How are you doing? Time's up. Stop. I hope you had fun. I hope you had a lot of cookies. But hey, what do you think our top secret agents are up to?
Not sure, Matthew.
Let's go find out.
Let's go find out.
Love my mom. I love my mom so much. I love my mom. She's my favorite mom out of my own. Oh, Agent Jones. What's the latest?
Yes, Agent Banks, we've just been briefed on a very, very high-profile, important mission. We have a criminal on the loose.
I'm listening.
The culprit is a neighborhood raccoon.
Ooh.
He's been sighted rummaging through the bins, creating a mess, creating havoc in the streets, and we have been assigned to take that culprit down.
Did you, by any chance, get a direction in which the raccoon went?
Yes, Agent Banks, the culprit was last seen heading...
Wait! Let me write this down.
Agent Banks, are you sure you don't want some paper to write on?
We don't have time for paper.
Okay. Agent Banks, the culprit was last seen... think that's about it, Agent Banks.
Agent Jones, I think we have a problem other than the raccoons.
Agent Banks,
Oh no.
did you write with red permanent marker?
Well, Agent Jones, I thought it would rub off. Am I gonna be like this forever? I can't be like this forever.
Agent Banks,
I need you to help me.
I've seen this before. You have been caught red-handed.
No. It's so red and gross. Can we go talk to Mrs. Poppyfield? Mrs. Poppyfield! Mrs. Poppyfield!
Oh. Is that, KidsLife. Oh, brilliant. It's always such a pleasure to see you and your lovely faces whenever you come visit the library. So, it does sound like our secret agents have gotten themselves into quite the mess. Right then, nothing a little story can't fix. Shall we, KidsLife? Let's get into the word. One day, Jesus told his disciples to get into a boat with him to cross to the other side of the lake. Without warning, a furious storm came upon the lake. Waves were crashing over the brim and water began to fill the boat. The disciples were scared. They had been fishermen their whole lives and were used to the storms on the water, but this storm was worse than they'd ever experienced. The disciples looked around in panic and saw that Jesus was asleep in the back of the boat. How could he be asleep in such a terrible storm? He was their only hope. Jesus, Jesus, they cried as they woke him. Lord, save us, we're going to drown. Jesus woke up and looked at them and said, "You of little faith." He got up and told the winds and the storm to stop. Everything became completely calm. Imagine that. The disciples were amazed and they looked at each other asking, "Who is this? Even the winds and the waves obey his commands." Jesus is Lord and he has power over everything on earth. When God created the world, it says that he spoke it into being. That means he told the mountains and the rivers to form, and so they did. Jesus has the same power as God does to control everything. Don't you think that God cares more about us than he cares about the wind and the water? If he has control over the winds and the waters, how much more does he have control over our lives? Jesus doesn't want us to be like the disciples were, scared, full of fear, and worried they would drown. He wants us to have faith that because he is with us, he is always in control and will always protect us, sometimes in the most miraculous ways.
I hope you enjoyed that story, KidsLife, as much as I enjoyed it. Agent Banks, I was wondering where you headed off to. My goodness, sir, your hand! It's no longer red! What did you do?
You know, Agent Jones, hearing that story about how the disciples were panicking too much made me realize I was panicking way too much. So I took a breath and I realized and remembered the power of soap. So I washed my hands.
Of course, Agent Banks. Why didn't I think about washing hand soap?
True. Like the disciples in the story, sometimes when I'm freaking out, I forget simple truths, like God's power and washing your hands.
It would have been way more helpful if, before we started panicking, we remembered our KidsLife memory verse. KidsLife, do you know our memory verse? It's Matthew 19, verse 26. Jesus looked at them and said, "With man, this is impossible. But with God, all things are possible."
Come on, Agent Jones, we've got a raccoon to catch.
Yes, we do.
Jesus' power calmed the storm and rescued his disciples. He still has the power today to bring peace and calmness to any storm or hard thing that we face. Jesus lives in us, and because he's in us, his power lives within us too. Do you know what that means, KidsLife? It means that we can tell anything that we face to be calm, be still, be silent in the powerful name of Jesus.